investigators. I have Sarah and Jen with me tonight.
Hi.
Hi. Sarah, I don't know. Why did I call you Sarah W? I don't know. You're Sarah V. I was just editing our Animal Crossing gaming podcast, and I realized that. But I'm just going to...
As long as you didn't confuse me for a lame Sarah, you can call me whichever.
I don't know what I know. There's so many Sarahs, though. I go by the initial. But so yes, here we are. We have gathered up some fascinating and stupid news to talk about. Let's see. First of all, let me start with, I took my mom to get her vaccination today. So that was a very exciting day today. She called yesterday, finally got through and spoke to someone, and they are like, can you come tomorrow? My mother's like, yeah, I know. I've got friends that aren't even getting appointments till April. So I'm like, fine. So I brought her there. It was it was at a dome here, which is like a very small like stadium where they set it up, you know, and it was very organized. I believe it's the National Guard is here. Like they were all working in there. And I ran into, when I was first checking my mom in, one of my comedian friends was working there doing temperatures. So I don't know if it's something, Sarah, I don't know how it works where you are, but maybe like you can just randomly apply for these jobs. I'm wondering to like do it like as needed, you know?
I think a lot of it is volunteer basis.
Is it?
Or the hospitals are organizing, and they
so I don't know who he works for, but yeah, he was there. There was, obviously, I think all the. So what they did when we went was like they signed her in. Then we went to like this back, like another huge section where all the tables were set up. And they were giving out the vaccine. Then there was like a huge TV screen in another section, and you sat there for 15 minutes after your shot to make sure you didn't have a reaction. And some people who have had allergic reactions had to stay for 30 minutes.
Oh, wow.
And they had an ambulance and EMTs there just in case. So I have to say, I don't know how other states, I heard like in Florida, like people were waiting 7 to 8 hours to get their shot. But hats off to whatever they're doing here in Rochester, and this, because it was so easy, so simple. And I'm very excited to have my 80-year-old mother finally get her first vaccine. So
what does she think of staying home in the snow for the winter?
Well, yeah, I know it. She's not pleased, you know, because obviously who would be?
Especially a long time, eh?
Yeah, especially being older, it's really hard to go out, you know, and walk in the snow. And it's just, but it's not like she could really do much. But she didn't think she would have her shots by now. Like she will, by the beginning of February, have had both of her shots.
That's awesome.
So if she can find a place in Florida, she could always just go now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Danielle's second shot, I believe she's getting it next week. So I'm the only one who's just, you know, still hanging out here.
And you had it though, so you should be okay.
No, I have never had it yet.
I thought you did.
No, I didn't get it. I've been exposed and quarantined at least, I don't know. I've been I've been out of quarantine now for about 6 days, so I should be getting firsthand exposed. The only reason I quarantined myself was because somebody at work
had it.
Well, more than one.
Yeah.
And I worked with them all. So now during lunch at work, I'm the only one who hasn't had it. Everybody else that works there right now has had it, and that lunch crew. The night crew's different. So I'm like,
easy.
I'm the last one standing over there, you know. It's crazy. I'm just so sick of it though.
We're living right in the COVID bubble for the new UK variant.
Yeah. Ooh. Yeah. They said it was in Albany.
It's here. There's a retirement home 2 blocks from me, and they have 86% of the residents have it right now. 20% of the staff and 1 staff member in hospital, they're averaging like 5 or 6 residents a day they're losing. Like, it's just, it's to the point, my neighbors, because we're us and the nursing home are between 2 grocery stores.
Yeah.
And none of my neighbors will even use those grocery stores, because assuming all the staff from the nursing home are using those, they're like, forget it. We're not even shopping there. We're going to the other side of town to shop. Like,
yeah. How have people that you know lately been getting really sick, Jen?
I don't know anybody personally. I don't think that's ever really sick.
Yeah, because the people I work with, the only way they knew was because one of them traveled and had to get a COVID test when she landed, and it came out positive, and she was with them all at over the holidays, right? Because it was all of a family. And otherwise, none of them at work would have even nothing.
That's crazy.
But I have a friend who got COVID over Christmas, and he had a heart attack last week, they thought, when they brought him in. And he went through like, oh my God, he was so mad. He had to stay for like 6 days in the hospital. They were running all these tests. They found out that he was throwing blood clots from having COVID.
Oh my God.
And he was another person, Sarah, who was not very sick when he had it.
Oh my
but
goodness.
Look what it did, right? So then they went to put stents in. And is that how they say it? Stents, yeah. And they said he had thrown it. They couldn't find him anymore. It was gone. Christ. But it was all from COVID. And he didn't even get that sick. So, you know, even if you don't get sick, you don't know what that shit's going to do to you after.
How's your daughter doing?
She still feels like shit. She said her chest, she still can't breathe. And it's been about a month and a half.
And because she was never that sick.
No, she was sick. Yeah. Remember? Oh, yeah. Oh, my gosh. We have a podcast since then, right?
No.
Did I tell you guys let me give you a quick funny story. So my youngest daughter had COVID, 24, and she lives with her sister, my other child, who's older. And of course, once she got diagnosed, my one daughter was in Brooklyn when the other one got diagnosed. So she came back from Brooklyn, didn't go back home, right? She stayed at her dad's. I wouldn't let her stay here because I didn't trust she didn't have COVID too. And they were all exposed anyway from my little one, you know? I was like, I saw her briefly when she was probably contagious, but literally she came in the house, picked up some homemade soup I made and left. So I didn't think that was long enough of exposure. So she's very sick, okay? She's got a fever. She's got bad diarrhea. She's throwing up. She's calling me. She's like, I am so sick. I think I'm going to die. I'm FaceTiming. I feel horrible because I can't be with her. You know, Sarah, there's nothing worse than having a really sick kid and you can't even do anything. Even when they're older, you still feel horrible for them, you know? So I'm FaceTiming. I'm looking at her and her cheeks were looking really red. I'm like, take your temperature again, whatever. So now she said, I feel like I'm going to faint. And I think I'm working myself up more with anxiety. So she goes, I'm going to put the dog cameras. They've got cameras in the house to watch their dog while they're at work, right? On me, on the couch and up in my room. And you guys check them to make sure I'm okay, right? We're laughing because she's being so crazy. So my one daughter, my oldest, I call her the next morning and I'm like, oh, your sister called me and she said she was really violently sick again this morning. And I go, you know, she's not getting better. It's been like 5 days. And Alexa's like, Ma, were you watching the camera? I'm like, no, I didn't even sign on. She goes, well, I signed on at 3 a.m. to check on her and she was binge eating cannolis on the couch playing Nintendo Switch. So now I'm like, that little sneak. She called me to tell me she was sick from COVID, but she was just like OD'd on cannolis. So I called her and I'm like, your sister said she saw you binge eating cannolis. And she's like, what? So what? That we were just, it was funny. And it's so funny because, both of my kids are like stick figures too. And I'm like, only they can binge eat sweets all night, But so yeah, that was my COVID story that they caught her binge eating cannolis. And then that was her story. But at any rate, Sarah, she ended up feeling like shit. About 2 weeks ago, she called me. She's like, I can't breathe. And she's like, because I can't breathe, I think I'm getting myself more anxious. You know what I mean? Because she's like, I'll just be sitting there on the couch and I can't breathe. So I'm like, go to urgent care and get a chest x-ray, just, see what they say. So she did. They listened to her lungs. They didn't like the way it sounded. They gave her a chest x-ray and they told her she has some lining on her lungs. There's damage that's from COVID. So they told her that they're calling it COVID cough and that takes up to 6 months to heal.
Oh, holy crap.
Yeah. So that's, she's only 24. Like I say, you just don't know. Some people don't get sick. Some people get very sick. It's just really bizarre.
It's like a mixed bag of symptoms. You never know what you're going to get.
Yeah.
It's like I'm just chocolates.
Yeah, so I'm just hanging on. So I'm hoping I, don't get it. Still, I can't believe I have it because my new joke is now I don't want a ventilator for Valentine's Day. So
knock on wood.
Yeah, but that's my story. Sarah, are they living life out there in New Mexico or what?
We're pretty locked down for the most part. We've had like a resurgence, and they've actually caught a couple of cases of the new variant. Here, so they said it's more readily transmissible. So we have to be very careful. I mean, we have to anytime we go out, we have to wear a mask.
Yeah.
No public gatherings. That whole shebang.
Yeah. So. Well, the red states are just YOLO, man. They're just living life. I don't know.
Yeah, New Mexico is blue.
Yeah, that's why you can't live your life.
Yeah, but I'm happy because I realized I don't leave the house on a normal day, let alone in a pandemic. So I'm pretty happy.
So like me, you were built for quarantine.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I do. I love it. I like that. I can stay home. I'm but I don't know. So I feel sometimes like, I wish I could still be doing comedy, but who knows? I guess we'll just see what happens. Jen, we're going to do the first story we're going to do is obviously we're going to do that Army Hammer story. Is that how you say his name?
Yeah.
Army Hammer.
Are you following any of this?
I did follow some of it. I had, mixed feelings because, all right, break it down what he's been accused of before I go on with my feelings.
Okay, do we want to go right back to the start or?
Well, let's give people a quick rundown of like what,
Okay, so it first started with House of Effie. She hasn't said where she got them on Instagram, but she's got a bunch of screenshots between him and some random woman or women that he wants to cook them, drink their blood, some pretty like heavy BDSM stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It kind of seemed exaggerated. It's
just not like 50 Shades of Grey stuff.
No, it's going way worse. I think the big thing is they keep reiterating that he won't use safe words.
And he did say in the text message that he is a cannibal, which is bizarre.
Yeah, which is where I start to think it's a little exaggerated because, like, realistically, who's a cannibal? Like, it's not like you're just finding bodies to eat. So that's where I started going, let's see. I don't know how real this all is.
Yeah.
I think the no safe words thing, though, is super, super iffy. Like, you just don't do that. Like, it doesn't matter what you're into. Like, that's sort of just the line.
Mm-hmm.